Right, wait. Ah. Good morning, comrades. You are listening to Good Morning Comrade, goodmorningcomrade.com. This is a Thursday show. We've been a little bit lacking on Thursday shows, mostly because I've been doing the Monday through Friday thing, but I think we should get back to doing this. So I got Robert on the show. What's going on, bro?
Hello. Same old. Make sure you keep that in. Make sure you
What?
keep that scuffed opening in. The
Oh,
scuffed ass opening.
that's just the aesthetic, right? Just scuffed as fuck all
Yeah,
the time.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
polish is for chumps, man.
You
So
know
what's
it.
going on with you, man?
You know it.
Been a little wild over here. What's up with
I
you?
know. Let's see. Doge is up. I have my 25.
I saw Mark Cuban posting about Doge yesterday. Like
Well,
Doge
he
Coin.
loves that shit. Rich people. Yeah, rich people love to see poor people scramble for like the scraps of
pennies.
like bullshit. They love it, dude.
Yeah. So like, what's up? What's the deal? What is Doge Coin? Just talk a little bit about that. What the hell's going on with Doge Coin?
No offense to anybody holding Doge out there who listens to us. I don't know what that Venn diagram looks like, but
just be brutal. Our audience is loyal enough and they can take it.
To be honest, Dogecoin is the biggest bullshit cryptocurrency like that has ever existed, and it's meant to be like that. It's meant to be a joke. But now it's worth over as it started at like a penny and now it's worth, today's high was like 14 the last time I checked. Before I checked my Robinhood account, it's worth like 11 cents right now. So I bought $25 of it for the meme, and now it's worth like $45. So congrats to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's bullshit. It's fun to just have and laugh at and be like, ha ha ha. Isn't our monetary system stupid? Isn't like markets and exchange, aren't they a joke? Like, if enough people get together, we can literally make anything valuable. But on the other end of that, there's all these like, I just call them idiots and suckers who think that somehow Doge is going to hit $1, which is so absolutely crazy. It's never going to happen. And even if it did, it would plummet so fast, because the problem with so good morning, Comrade Financial Corner. The problem with Dogecoin, and it's not a problem I have with cryptocurrency. Like, cryptocurrency is real. It's legit as anything out there. It's legit as gold. It's legit as the US. It's more legit than the US dollar, actually. But the thing with Doge is, just not to bore the complete piss out of our audience, Doge has no cap. Do you understand what I mean by that? Are you still there, Jeff? Oh, he's gone. But anyway, so Jeff is gone. I can actually keep it rolling. So Jeff can't answer, but I'm assuming he knows. So what makes things valuable in our society is that, gold, silver, the US dollar, fiat currency is scarcity. Well, Doge has no cap, which means you can keep mining that digital chunk of Doge and breaking pieces off to infinity. So by its very nature, it can never be valuable because there is no scarcity. Unless we all decide as a population that Doge is valuable because it's valuable, because all monetary systems, including like fiat currency, are just, whatever we make them to be. But by our current ideas of value and standards, Doge can never have value because it can never be scarce. Something like Ethereum or Litecoin or Bitcoin has value, intrinsic value, because there is only a limited amount of it to mine through your computer. So therefore, Doge has no value. You should only buy you not be holding it. This is not financial advice, but also it doesn't matter because cryptocurrencies are not regulated by any exchange. So I guess this is financial advice when we're talking about crypto. And we'll see if Jeff comes back in a minute, and hopefully this will keep that on the show.
Hello. Hey, we are back. Just gonna wait for Robert to get back here, and then we can continue the show. But yeah, just don't know what happened there. Our computer just died for a minute. Hopefully, we'll be back up on all the stuff. But yeah, that was not expected. That was weird. Yeah, Jeff back in the saddle. What's going on, folks? Hey, we are back. Yep, that's little double there. But yeah, just trying to figure out what the hell happened. Don't know what the hell happened. You got any chatters? No. All right. So we're back in business. I guess in the meantime, we'll see if there's something. There he is. He's back. Hey, man, what's going on?
Jeff, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
All right.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Okay, what the hell? we'll have Robert back in a second. So yeah, and then we can kick us off. Back on the show. Good thing there wasn't very much taken care of before then. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't wearing my lucky hat. Boom, there you go. Now we're in business. Now we are in business. Now nothing bad can happen. Wow. Oh, okay. Sure, done. All right. Hey, Robert, you back?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, cool. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
What happened here? What happened? What did it do?
My whole computer froze, and I had a hard restart. Right? Yeah, I'm here. You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah.
No error code. No blue screen. No nothing.
No, like it froze. Like nothing would happen. None of my inputs would work. It was just like no keyboard, no mouse. I could see the mouse cursor, but I couldn't do anything. So it's just like.
How often does it happen?
Not very often.
It happens often enough. Could be your hard drive.
I can't tell you a time that it happened before. I don't know if it's happened before.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, never mind then.
But I mean, like, my stuff's a little bit. We're live, by the way, just so that you know.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, I see.
And all right, well, we're back up and running. You were talking about Doge.
No, I was saying I went on a whole rant if you want to keep it in, but
yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I was saying that but no, Doge is it's cool if you're buying it for the meme. It's meant to be a joke, but I feel bad for all these people with like they're saying they have a portfolio full of thousands of dollars worth of Doge Coin, which is insane. Because it's complete like my problem isn't again with cryptocurrency. I own a portfolio full of cryptocurrency. What's that?
You're a crypto guy.
Yeah, I am. Because crypto's as real as anything else. It's as real as gold or silver or fiat currency. It has intrinsic value because of its scarcity. That's just the way like we've always valued. We as human beings we've always given value to something by its scarcity. The problem with Doge is because it's the joke, because it's a meme, it has no scarcity. Like you can mine Dogecoin literally forever, which is not how we judge things at this point in time as a civilization to be valuable. Therefore, unless civilization completely shifts and changes and we become floating orbs, outside of our own bodies and the singularity happens, then maybe Doge will hit $1. Mm-hmm. But until then, it's just fun meme time. So this is financial advice, by the way, because cryptocurrency is it's not regulated by anything. So therefore, I can tell you what to buy, and you should not buy Doge.
Right?
Like it's stupid. I mean, actually, no. Keep buying Doge. Keep buying Doge because it makes my Doge go up if you buy it. So actually, fuck that. Just keep buying. Sell your house. Sell your family into indentured servitude. Just buy up all the Doge.
Yeah, just make it go up, right? We could do the same thing. We could do it with GameStop. We could do it with Doge. Yeah.
And speaking of crypto, Coinbase, which is the popular currency exchange, had an IPO, an initial public offering on the stock market today. That shit fell harder than something that falls real hard. That shit was awful. It opened at $381. It ended at $320 today. That was brutal. I YOLO'd into that, but I got out so quick.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, ooh, I'm about to make some money. And then I'm like, ooh, I'm about to lose everything.
I guess if we're going to talk about crypto a little bit, just
a little bit. I don't want to dominate.
Well, so Coinbase is like what you use as almost like a wallet or something. Like I know very little about crypto, but like
it's not a wallet, dude. It's an exchange. Think of like what Coinbase is. when you go to the airport and you see those kiosks that have foreign exchange, like you can change your dollars into yen and vice versa for a fee. That's what Coinbase is. Coinbase allows you to do that just with, yeah, absolutely. They're just changing crypto into other forms of crypto for the exchange rate, and then taking a usury fee when you cash out in US dollars. That's what they do.
And they had an initial public offering on public exchange.
On the exchange, yeah, on the stock exchange.
And so nobody was buying it.
It was way overvalued. No, I wouldn't say nobody bought it. What honestly happened was a bunch of hedge funds probably bought millions upon millions of dollars worth, pumped it up 40 cents, and then sold.
Oh, then they
got out. Yeah, and they just sold off,
It's what they tried to do.
That's how it works.
It's what they tried to do at GameStop, but they got kind of like too many people on Wall Street bets. Like they tried to they bought these shorts in GameStop, and they tried to basically say it's going to tank, so we might as well.
No, that's different. That was like really high short interest, which means they placed down bets, so it would fall. If it fell, it would make money, and so retail investors, Wall Street bet people, myself, decided to go against that, and then they bought more of the stock, which makes the hedge funds have to sell, because if they don't sell, they'll lose money. But this is more of a pump and dump. I would say it's not anything illegal or scandalous. It was just an overvalued stock that, institutions, hedge funds bought up. They got it to the price they wanted, and they sold. It was just a game of, it's not anything shady. Like, it happens every day.
I mean, it sounds
like Coinbase.
It sounds shady, just from the perspective of it's so convoluted, I guess you could say. Like and all of this stuff, and this is like where I get all like you were saying earlier, like this is not real money. This is just a bunch of like numbers on a spreadsheet, right? And like,
well, none of it's real, but yeah.
Yeah, and like this is so alienated from labor and from work and from actual exchanges of goods. Like this is so far removed from that. It's just like a bunch of rich people passing money around and a certain number of like less rich people.
Well, absolutely. That's 100% right. But then you have to lump in the US dollar into that as well. Any fiat currency is the same thing. It only has value for what the government enforces it having. It only has value because it's live under a certain government, and that government enforces.
You're breaking up real bad.
Okay. What about now?
Say again.
What about now?
You're doing better. Yeah, you're doing better.
Okay. Sorry. So, I mean, all currency only has value that we as a society give it. We as a society have deemed let's say as the United States government, we have deemed the United States government that we're going to live under its laws, and therefore the United States government says, hey, you have to accept these like green pieces of paper to pay all debts, legal, public or private. So it's the same thing. There's really no difference. I guess that's why it kind of irks me about people talk about like the stock market like it's some kind of, or like cryptocurrency like it's some kind of, people talk about crypto like it's so much different than the stock market. Like the stock market is some kind of natural thing. Like human beings like just came from like primordial ooze and then evolved over millions of years, and the stock market's always just been there. It's just a natural occurrence. And it's not. It's a fake thing that we give value to as a society. And that's it. It has no other value than that. I mean, you look at a stock market. Yeah, crypto's no different. Crypto, it's all fake. It's all a scam. And that doesn't mean I don't want to stay on this forever because I think we have more important things to talk about. And I think as like leftists, like I'm into this stuff because I want to have things like leftists. My point with this is like we are allowed to have nice things. If you want a PlayStation 5, like, go get one, my dude. Like, don't
Right.
feel any kind of way, like, if you want to, like, buy crypto, if you want to buy AMC and GameStop, if you want to buy, like, Microsoft and hold it for 30 years, like, my dude, like, please do that, because until we like burn Wall Street down, you might as well try to, like, make some money out of it.
Right. And like that does have some value insofar as I'm not like trying to make any like claims that, oh yes, we should, I'm not making a defense of the stock market in any way, but like people's retirements are, like, whether we like it or not, wrapped up in that stuff.
Right.
And as of right now, it's a part of the system that exists. And like you're doing, like you're talking about, engaging in that system isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's also like not the like I remember when the Wall Street bets thing was going on, a lot of people were talking about, like, well, this is the revolution. I'm like, well, no, that's not going to happen either, because like that's the playing field of the ruling class and the rules of the ruling class. And yeah, they'll let you play there, but they're not going to beat. You're not going to beat them at their own game, at their own turf, right?
It's both, actually. I have this can go into. I'd like to segue this to talk about police brutality and the ongoing, like, riots and protests. Yeah. Well, here's my segue. I think, honestly, more people getting involved in the stock market and pumping stocks and like actively trying to, like, hurt hedge funds has a more of effect on Wall Street than Occupy Wall Street ever could, because unless you can't occupy Wall Street, you have to, like, either burn it down or try to beat them at their own game. We have the same conversation. We talk about electoralism. When I say, like, oh, are we doing revolution? No, well, I guess we're doing electoralism. So my thing is, like, nothing ever happens in this country of any kind of, because we live under capitalism. Nothing ever happens until we start fucking with people's capital. We start fucking with capital, then all of a sudden they want to listen to you. When you take, like, okay, I'll give you an example: police brutality. What damn good did And I'm not knocking the man. I'm just giving an example. Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. He lost his job. He's ostracized from the NFL. He's mocked. Of course, history's going to prove him right. 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years from now, it's going to prove him right. But what actual beneficial change came from his action? None. People burning down a target
for him or for the movement?
For society.
Oh, okay.
For the movement.
He got a fat contract from Nike out of the deal, which I'm not even being a hater about that either.
No. I mean, for the movement. But people burning down a target and fucking up capital make the city of Minneapolis go, whoa, what's going on? At least now, like, there's a dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, when you start fucking with capital, however you do it, that's when this society starts listening. They don't listen to you. They don't listen to you anywhere else. Yeah.
They didn't care in the George Floyd murder. The cops weren't so well. No, the cops were always terrible, of course, because any kind of protest is going to be treated like an assault on all of the society. But like the thing that they point to, I guess you could say in retrospect, is, oh wow, they burned down a Target. Like that's what they worry about, and that matters obviously significantly more than the murder of a guy who was stopped by police with his knee on his neck for 9 minutes.
Right, but it's not even a contradiction of capitalism, though, because when you think about when you really, yeah.
Mm.
So it's not like oh, can you believe this wacky world we live in? No, I believe it 100%. And so the only way to fuck with these people, the only way to get them to bend to you is to fuck with their pocketbook. Yeah, I mean, MLK did it back, with the bus boycotts.
Mm-hmm.
With just like withholding it can be withholding your dollars. It could be burning shit down. You've got to hit these people. You got to hit corporate America. Look how corporate America has responded. Look at just an example of in Georgia, all these companies are like pulling out of Georgia, don't want to do business in Georgia.
Yeah.
And that's because they don't want to be associated with this shit. When the next eventual guy gets his brains blown out when a cop pulls him over in Atlanta, which is going to happen, this is going to happen again. They don't want to be associated with that.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be like, this is no longer worth the blowback that we're going to get.
Yeah.
And so if we can stand up now for like voting rights, then we can at least be on the right side when shit hits the fan again and be the friendly company. These companies aren't your friends. They're making calculated decisions to increase their bottom line. But you know what? Again, this is a war. This isn't a conflict where it's two armies on the field. All right. Oh crap.
Mm-hmm.
How about now?
Better.
So I said this isn't a conflict with like two armies on the field, like standing, popping shots at each other. Like in that kind of war, like we're going to lose. And I know I'm like kind of talking all over the place, but we have to think of it as like we have to use anything in our disposal, whether it be like using the capitalism against itself to try to uplift people out of it, to try to destroy capitalism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the things that it's all sites in the struggle, I guess you could say. Like if there's a way to assume power in a particular area, it would be almost like a certain degree, malpractice to not let that go. But I guess the question that I kind of look at is priorities, and I mean, where my priorities lie. But anyway,
absolutely.
To get on the subject of the so there's a couple of things we can talk about sort of in confluence that have been going on since the last time we've talked. The Derek Chauvin trial has been going on for what seems like 2 or 3 weeks now. And as much as I thought, at least early on, like he was really quick for the people who are listening who have been under a rock for a while. Derek Chauvin is the police officer, the cop who murdered George Floyd by kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes, ignoring multiple complaints from George Floyd that he couldn't breathe and was on his neck for multiple minutes after he had died, right? He's on trial right now, and I think probably for the first time that I can remember, like the cop might actually get convicted here. What do you think?
Do you want to hear my super hot take?
Let's go.
Super, super hot take. Oh, and I know this, like in my mind, this is not like the correct take to have. I know like I should want justice to be done, but I kind of hope he gets off.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Here's my thought process. That I don't trust all these cops, like, and like the whatchamacallit, the chief of police and all these cops flipping on him. What I think they're doing with this guy is I think that the police union and that department and then the rest of the departments across the United States are going to follow suit. I think that what's happening is they're going to place all the sins. They're gonna put all the sins of the police in the United States on this one guy and cast him off into the wilderness, throw him in jail, and then they're gonna come back and be like, "Look, we got him. It's over. Like the police have been fixed. It's all over."
Are you happy now?
To where if he gets off, yeah. So like y'all got nothing to complain about. Aren't you happy? Like Chauvin's in jail. Like. There can't be police brutality. There can't be predatory policing. Obama's president. Like, there can't be racism, right? Like, remember that shit? So, but if he gets off, Jeff, if he gets off, everything burns. And again, this goes back into my.
Has not been eaten.
Yeah, this goes back into my nobody cares until you start fucking with their capital. You start fucking with people's capital, all of a sudden shit starts changing. I know that's sick. I know that's disgusting. I know that's
well, no, I agree that that's what they're going to try and do.
I think it's logical.
Yeah. So I agree that it was what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and sort of like nail this guy to the cross, essentially. And he's going to essentially be the singular symbol of like all of police brutality being finally defeated or something like that, right? And
Correct.
I guess the question becomes, because like whether or not, whether or not there is like whether or not that happens is out of our control in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
like it's out of our control. And I guess the question becomes, what are the next steps if that does happen? Because that does seem like to be the most likely scenario. And 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have thought that that would have happened, if you know what I mean. But like
And to
after,
counter my own, go ahead.
I guess my point
I
is
was
that
going.
like after Derek Chauvin, if if it's going the way that we think it's going to go, after he gets like convicted, if that does happen, then what? What do you do?
Right. Well, to counter my own argument,
Mm-hmm.
I think that predatory policing and police misconduct and pretty much police murder it's ramping up and at least being covered more to where it might not matter if they try to use this guy as a scapegoat. There's like the police are snitching on themselves so much by doing so much
Mm-hmm.
evil that it might not matter.
Mm-hmm.
It might be because police are killing people, unarmed people every day. They're pepper spraying dudes for no reason, like, and it's all being caught on camera. That it might not matter if this guy goes to jail or not. I just don't want people to like. I don't want people to be like, oh, we got him.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more to talk about. I don't. That might not happen now, and we might get both things. We might get people like still pushing to abolish the police, still pushing for change, and Chauvin might go to prison.
Right. Well, and again, like I guess my point is what I'm trying to say here is that like if that is going to happen, how do you make that the thing that happens? You know what I mean? How do you influence that when Chauvin, or if and when Chauvin gets off here, if he gets off, then like what's the steps to kind of keep the whole thing rolling? Because I mean, like you're saying, Chauvin, they want to make him the scapegoat. Like, how do you
Right.
make sure he's not?
You know what? To be honest, and this isn't a cop out. This is my real feelings that I don't have an opinion on that, on what to do next, because I'm going to let people who are actually who've been doing this, who've actually been in this, quote unquote, in the street, like in the fight, like doing this. I'm going to let them tell me what to do.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I guess that's going to be the interesting question to sort of like keep an eye on. And you mentioned the sort of like ramping up of police violence. I mean, there was a case just a few days ago of Dante Wright, who was basically murdered by a cop, and the claim by the cops. This was like 10 minutes away from Minneapolis, where was it Minneapolis, where George Floyd was.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely.
Brooklyn Center, and the sort of like claim by the chief of police and by the police officer who shot and killed him. It was not like an officer involved shooting. It was a cop shot the man. I hate when they report about that kind of stuff. Officer involved shooting. Like, who got shot? Who did the shooting here? You know what I mean? It's just like a way that the press covers these things that completely removes any kind of like culpability or responsibility on the part of the cop who literally shot and murdered somebody. Right now, like I was saying, the cop claims that she was reaching for her taser and shot this kid to death with her gun. What do you think of that, Robert?
I think it's like, as a former cop, I never had a taser, but I definitely had a Glock 17 9mm, which is what she killed him with. Those two things are impossible to mistake. One is going to be bright yellow and very light, and the other is going to be steel and plastic, and a lot heavier.
Yeah.
And they both have completely different. They both completely have different trigger mechanisms. But here's the thing. I believe that here's the thing. I don't believe there's a grand conspiracy that she's like, oh, I'm going to murder this guy and yell taser, taser, taser. I believe she did it. I believe she did that by accident, which is completely unacceptable. Like, then you're just stupid, and you shouldn't be a cop. See, what we need to not focus on is oh, did she mean to kill him or not? Was she really? Don't worry about that. Worry about, like, why did he get pulled over? He got pulled over because of air fresheners in his rear view.
He got
like, why was that
driving? He was essentially driving a car that had expired tags, and they had air fresheners in there, which, like, the reason that I didn't know this was a thing until just now. Maybe you did, but like apparently, like, air fresheners are, like, suspicious because they're supposed to cover up, like, the smell of weed or something. Is that? I've never heard of that before.
They don't. Nothing covers up the smell of weed because weed is, like, permeates through things. There's actually a guy we should have on the podcast. We should try. He used to be a Texas cop. What Barry Cooper's his name, and he did a video series after he quit called "Never Get Busted Again," which tells you exactly what police look for. It's really good. He tells you how to hide your weed, like, the whole bit. Yeah, we should definitely have him on the show. But no, it's just stupid. It's another reason to pull people over. So, and then, but the thing is, and then after that, I heard he had a warrant for tickets. Like, who cares?
Obviously, he had died.
You just recite him, and then I had a warrant once. Let me tell you this story. So, I had a warrant probably like a decade ago in Cincinnati, right? I lived in Ohio. So I had a dog. Dog gets loose. We got this dog from another county. The dog had all its tags, shots, and whatnot, but from the other county. So the dog gets loose. The Humane Society picks him up. I go to the Humane Society looking for this dog. They got my dog. They want me to pay a fine. They're like, oh, you have to pay a fine because he's not licensed in the county. And I go, no, because he's licensed in the county over, and that license is good for the entire year. I know this. I read it. So she's like, no. She's like, you have to pay the fine. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'll take my dog very much. Thank you so much. And so I leave. So one day I'm off work. Yeah, I go home. This is like a month later, right? I go home. I'm outside raking leaves outside of my house. Cop pulls up in my driveway. Are you Robert Johnson? What do you want?
What?
Are you Robert Johnson? Can you come here? Yes. Okay. He's like, hey, do you know you have a warrant out for your arrest? I'm like, for what? What are you talking about? He's like, something about animal enclosure. So I'm like, for a dog? For my dog? He's like, yeah. He's like, no big deal, man. I just got to recite you. Just go to court. So what? I go to court. I go to the library. I go to the law library so I can print it directly from the law books. Like from the I go to the University of Cincinnati Law Library because I don't even want to print this stuff out online. I want to make sure they see it's right from the book, it's up to date, whatever. So I print this stuff out from the law library. I go to court on my court date. I go to the prosecutor and I go, hey, this is the deal. She just goes, this is ridiculous. And they go, and she's like, hey, this is what happened, Judge. We're dropping all of this. And then he's like, okay, great. I still had to pay to get my warrant freaking, like, taken off. My bench warrant. I still had to pay like $200.
That's crazy.
Because I had a bench warrant. Unbelievable. So, like, you could have a warrant. I was watching Hassan Piker. You could have a warrant. He said this. It was perfect because you could have a warrant right now for a parking ticket. You can have a warrant for a parking ticket in another city and have no idea right now. Now. And instead of this cop going, oh, you've got stupid traffic warrants for tickets, we're just going to recite you. No, we got to take you to jail right now. It's so important for us to do that. They do that all day here in New Orleans, all day. You have a warrant out, they're taking you straight to OBP, straight
Have
to
you ever
Orders
been?
Justice
I
Center.
mean, like, well, I guess stupid question. Like, but like, if you ever get like a ticket or anything like that, you go to, traffic court or whatever, and they have just like, at least in Jefferson Parish where I live, and I've done it in other places as well. They basically have a list of people by name. They'll say, "Okay, are you here? All right, attachment." Because they're not, are you here? Attachment. So they're just like out there giving people warrants, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. Like it's just so many people getting warrant, like getting these, like an attachment is an arrest warrant essentially.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is, dude.
And it's like literally,
it's so gross.
Hundreds of people on there on like a list. Like at least half of them aren't there. So like that means half of those people every single day they do traffic court are just getting warrants out for their arrest. It's insanity.
And just to give you an example, I had this going back to like riots and burning shit down, like gets the goods. It brought me to think about, like, I lived through a race riot as a kid in my home in St. Petersburg, Florida, and it completely changed how the police department did policing. So if that same situation would have happened in my hometown, because the St. Petersburg police used to be just as bad. If that same situation happens now, the St. Pete police have if it's not a violent, if it's not like a violent felony, they have a no chase policy. So if that kid would have like ducked away, like snatched away and tried to start his car, as long as he wasn't trying to like run a cop down, they would have just let him go.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "We'll pick you up later. We got the make, model, and plate. We know your name.
Yeah.
We'll come get you, bro. Like, there's nowhere for you to go."
Right. Which isn't even like, I don't even necessarily agree with that. Like if they have expired tags or whatever, just mail them a ticket or whatever, like or not.
Yeah, they could have just do it. But I'm saying, if you run from the cops, I'm saying if you take off and run from the cops, like that's a different thing. The St. Petersburg police have like decided that it's safer to let that person just go wherever they're gonna go than to do some kind of high speed chase all through Tampa Bay,
like a movie or something, right?
Yeah, because we'll get them later. They're gonna go they're gonna go to their home of residence eventually. These people are not, they're not Jason Bourne. They're not rolling around with 5 passports and 50 fake IDs.
And if they are, you're not gonna catch them anyway. You probably have more problems if you did.
Right. But the reason why they did that is because they had a traffic stop and they shot a kid the same kind of way. To try to keep the story short, to where if that kid had it was like something stupid, and if they just would have let the kid go, they could have just picked him up back at his mom's house later.
Right.
But yeah, so that's why but the reason why they changed is because people burned that city to the ground after they killed that kid in 2096, I believe. I think it was 96.
Yeah, the thing that's interesting to me is that people burn down Tampa and anybody cares.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I'm just messing. Ha ha ha.
I got you.
It's Florida.
Anyway. But yeah, it's I actually can't be on too much longer because my phone's gonna die. I wish I would have had more battery. Yeah, but all right, I'll give you, and here's a super. I don't know if I've ever shared this, but here's super hot take 2 for the night about policing. Is that you're not going to hear this from any other leftist podcast? I can tell you that. So here's my way. Here it is right here. Here's how you fix the police department. Because we're not going to abolish them tomorrow. I would love to abolish the police, but we don't have anything in place to abolish them. But okay. But this is how you fit. You fire every single cop. You fire them all. And you make them reapply for their jobs. Anybody who has any kind of misconduct, they cannot reapply. You make them all reapply for their jobs. Now, the ones that do pass the new strenuous standards that we've set up to get their jobs back, we're not going to defund the police. We're actually going to fund the police more, but this money can only go to salaries, because now we're going to pay the police twice to 3 times what they're getting right now.
Mhm.
And the reason why you do that is because now you're going to have people who are not psychopaths applying to be cops. Because right now, that's part of the scam. The pay is so low that right now they know that only psychopaths are going to apply. Only 2 people are going to apply to be cops: psychopaths and idealists. The idealists, like me, are going to quit. And the psychopaths are going to be the only ones left because they'll do the job. They would do this job for free. They would go harass Black and brown people for free.
They do it for fun. They do it on their off time.
Right. Right. So you pay them 3 times more than what they're getting paid now. And then when you do have the psychopaths that that show themselves, you fire them instantly. And you're able to fire them instantly because you know you've got a stack of resumes ready to go to police academy. That's how you fix the cops.
So there's a similarity in what you bring up, and like I haven't thought about it enough to like determine whether or not I agree with you or not. But the way that you're talking about things is essentially like similar to the way that like I think about teachers and stuff like that. Just mostly because that's the world I live in, right? Or at least I've lived in at various points in my life. I'm in kind of like a weird nebulous zone right now. But anyway, part of the reason, because right now there's a huge shortage of teachers too, right? And there's basically a couple of kinds of teachers, and like there's a huge, like I said, a huge shortage. So like there's a couple of kinds of teachers, like the teachers that have been teaching for like, 20, 25 years. They've seen it all. They know what's going on. They've, anything that happens doesn't surprise them, and things just like always feel like they're getting worse. And I'm generalizing here. Like obviously there's exceptions by many, but I'm sort of generalizing. And then there's like the idealists, like you were saying, like the Teach for America kids that are coming to like do missionary work or whatever, and also by the way get their college tuition paid off. And they tend to not last for very long, though sometimes they do. And they come in with a particular like savior-y mindset. And the reason you don't get more of the former kind that I mentioned, the teachers that have been around for a very, very long time, or like I was a teacher, still 5 years in, but I went through the traditional college way, and like I keep thinking to myself, like, well, I could go get a, if I was compelled to do so, go get a job, with the college degree that pays twice this. And I have to deal with probably half the bullshit.
Yeah, no, there's a big parallel to where I believe like the conspiracy is break the police by paying them so low, and then the same thing, break the teachers by paying them so low that and then you can say, look at this, like, doesn't work. We should just privatize it all.
Well, yeah, private cops would be worse than. Like if they defund and that's sort of like one of the like issues, and like I'm on board conceptually with the idea of defunding the police, I think, but like if the replacement for the defunded police is like the equivalent of charter schools for police or whatever that would look like at state and local levels, no, that's worse. That's not better, even if you're doing it cheaper.
Yeah,
like, that sounds bad.
My dude, we already
like, private army. That sounds like a step backwards.
Different departments. And I gotta leave with this because I'm at like 2%. Different departments have already dipped their toe into that. Have you ever in our city, New Orleans? Have you ever seen those
Blackwaters in the U.S. now? We got mercenary cops.
Have you seen those NOPD Ford Explorers that have the star on the sticker on the side that say Garden District Security District Patrol, or it'll say like Magazine Street Security District or something?
Or even like
that is a
Cindy
special
Torres's little like scooters or whatever. There's little cop scooters, right?
That magazine street, that magazine street, yeah, that's Vucari. So that magazine district or the Vucari, like those little smart cars, those are paid for by private business. Those are paid for by
getting grants for it too.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're already dipping our toes into private policing.
Yeah, which is bad too. So like finding ways like to think about that is like a whole different, like that's a whole different conversation. Anyway, I know you got to go. Sorry
Yeah,
about
I
the
gotta do it.
technical difficulties, but I'll kind of find a way to stitch this together into a show. Anyway,
Cool.
you can watch Good Morning Comrade every Monday through Friday on youtube.com youtube.com, search Good Morning Comrade. You can also check out our website. We're on goodmorningcomrade.com, where you can find how to support us. Patreon.com/goodmorningcomrade. We're trying to get to our 10 patrons, and we're trying to get subscribers on YouTube. We want to get up on YouTube. We want to get up on Twitch. Right now, we're broadcasting on both of those and Facebook Live. So we need people to go to all of those things. Twitch.tv/Good Morning Comrade Radio, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Monday through Friday, most days. You can see what's going on. I'm usually like looking at the news. Hopefully, I'm not rambling and I'm doing a decent enough job. We got a couple regulars in chat there. But yeah. Good Morning Comrade. Check us out. Anything else you wanted to say, Robert, before we go?
No, thanks. And I saw somebody re-up their Patreon. We really got to start like reading their names out. We'll do that. We'll do that like on next Thursday or something. We got to do something for these people. Like our patrons now, it's like somebody re-up to like $20 a month. I super appreciate that. But yeah, thank you guys, everybody that's supporting the Patreon right now.
All right.
But yeah, everybody. I'm out. I'll see you later.
Bye.